She-Hulk is releasing in only a week, and there has been zero hype on social media for it. The poor-looking CGI-filled trailers have failed to impress us all. There have been no good interviews, and the director has been making a lot of claims about the series, specifically that it was developed with a focus on inclusivity, making sure that the story was told through the female lens, and she even blamed criticism of the CGI not on their team, but quote, our culture's belief in its ownership of women's bodies. I have a bunch of things to show off, but before we get into the topic at hand, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon for just $1 a month, or support the channel via YouTube memberships. All of the links are in the description, and of course, I do really appreciate all of the support. So I wanted to start with this topic. It says She-Hulk director confirms Disney Plus series was developed with a focus on inclusivity and making sure that the story was told through the female lens. As if the Disney Plus series attempt to market itself by downplaying the achievements and experience of the Jade Giantess' more famous cousin wasn't proof enough already, She-Hulk attorney-at-law director has confirmed that two of the most important aspects to the next MCU entry's development were inclusivity and making sure that the story was told through the female lens. I miss the days where entertainment was just that. We did not have to worry about what was going to be shoved in our faces in a new movie or a new TV show, where we could just enjoy the entertainment that was given to us. Just enjoy the great writing, the great visuals, the stunning moments. But now, when I see Marvel products, whether they're movies or these TV shows, I'm not thinking, wow, I hope that this writing is good. I end up saying to myself, I hope that this isn't a complete disaster, which is very, very depressing to have to admit. I just want good entertainment, and unfortunately, Marvel has not been able to give that to us in a very long time. It says they provided this insight into the series' focus during a recent interview given to Entertainment Weekly. Asked by a staff writer how having a team of all women behind the camera influenced the series' production, the director asserted, I will be so excited on the day when that is not a big deal. It really shouldn't be a big deal, but people like her want to make it a big deal because they want to be able to go, look at us, we're doing diversity and inclusivity behind the camera. It's all females. To me, that's just, it's okay. I mean, that's fine. I have no problems with seeing women who deserve jobs get the jobs that they've worked hard for, but at the same time, were they all the best choices, or did you only hire women because you simply didn't want to deal with men, because you didn't want to give men a fair opportunity? I think the best person for the job should get hired in a case like this, and hey, if these women were the best choices, then that's great. Awesome. They deserve that. But do you really have to continuously pat yourself on the back for that? We're not there just yet, but I hope that this show is part of that movement where it's just accepted that some shows are predominantly led by women because that's how life is. There are plenty of movie and TV shows where the lead characters are all females. I mean, it's not like females haven't existed in movies or there haven't been enough females in entertainment. That is very far from the truth. But of course, she wants to be able to pat herself on the back, so she's downplaying other people's achievements. It was definitely something we talked about, but inclusivity and making sure that the story was told through the female lens was important. Comic books have traditionally in the art been through the male gaze, so there was a lot of talk about what is the female gaze and how do we create this from our point of view. They are very clearly making the show hoping to bring in a female audience, and we saw that from the trailers. They are putting a lot of humor into this series that they think is going to appeal to females. I, as a female, watched these trailers and I think visibly cringed. I do not want to hear, jokes about Tinder dates and watching She-Hulk go on Tinder dates. That's just not what I want to see. That's just not very entertaining, in my opinion. And to top it all off, they completely changed around this character's backstory so that they didn't have to talk about a male character being very important. Which, of course, in my opinion, is absolutely absurd. This whole series just sounds like it's going to be another Marvel flop. It says the director then revealed that with these goals in mind, one thing I always come back to was one of the wishful fulfillment elements of getting to see her walking around a dark alley and someone gives her a hard time and she's able to kick their butts. It was something that every single woman could relate to, any woman of any age. How exciting would it be to walk home in the dark and not worry? She-Hulk is able to walk home even while wearing headphones and not worry because she has the power to not feel vulnerable physically, and I think that's a pretty unique thing that only a group of women could have brought to this, among other much more nuanced things as well. So you're telling me that Natasha or Wanda couldn't walk down an alley and feel safe? They're bad asses and they're not scared of anything. What about all of these female characters that came before She-Hulk? Of course, they want to, like I mentioned, bring down these other characters and the way that women have viewed them in order to prop up their new version of She-Hulk. And of course, this director cannot accept the fact that people have criticized this series because she's even gone so far as to blame criticisms of the series CGI on our culture's beliefs in its ownership of women's bodies. This is the most absurd thing that I've heard from one of these directors. I think a lot of the critique comes from feeling like they're able to tear apart the CGI woman. There's a lot of talk about her body, and we based it on Olympian athletes and not bodybuilders, but I think if we had gone the other way, we would be facing the same critique. I think it's very hard to win when you make women's bodies. The only problem I have had with the way that She-Hulk looks are her hands. For some reason, her hands are massive compared to the rest of her body. I think that they sized up her hands a little bit too much. But besides that, I think that she looks pretty good besides the awful green coloring that they've gone with because of the CGI. I think that the CGI is really, really poorly done. But besides that, I don't have a problem with her strong-looking arms or her stronger-looking legs. She's going to look that way, but of course, they don't want to accept the fact that, hey, people didn't like our CGI because it looked lower budget for this higher budget series. No, they just want to write it off as, well, people feel like they own this woman's body. Of course, we're already seeing the damage control release before the show comes out because as soon as this series comes out and people are critiquing it, these directors and producers are going to want to say, ugh, it's just these disgusting, terrible people who hate women in entertainment, these ists and phobes, and we're already seeing that happen. I am not looking forward to She-Hulk. I have no excitement for She-Hulk, and I know a lot of people do not either. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.